Last week, we talked about the tax bill the IRS forces on you at 73, the required minimum distribution you don't get to skip. Today, I want to show you the other side of that story, the legal window, a few years wide, where you can move that same money out of your retirement account and pay close to 0% tax doing it. It's not a trick. It's a quiet feature of the tax code most people walk right past. And then, at 73, the government empties that account on its terms instead of yours. Doing this on purpose versus ignoring it can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. I'm Ray. Today I'll show you what a Roth conversion is, the 0% zone hiding in your standard deduction, and the handful of years when this window is open widest, before it quietly closes. Quick and important. I'm not a CPA, attorney, or financial advisor. This is education, not tax advice. Deductions, tax brackets, and the rules I'll mention get adjusted over time, so always check the current numbers at irs.gov and loop in a licensed professional before you move any money. Because as you'll see, this is one move you can't undo. So what is a Roth conversion? Remember from last week, the money in a traditional IRA or 401k has never been taxed. It's been growing tax deferred, and the IRS is waiting to tax every dollar on the way out. A Roth conversion means you voluntarily move some of that money from the traditional account into a Roth account. You pay ordinary income tax on the amount you move, this year on purpose. But once it's in the Roth, three things change. It grows tax-free, you can take it out tax-free, and, this is the key one, a Roth IRA has no required minimum distributions during your lifetime. So the whole game is this. You choose to pay the tax in a year you pick, at a rate you can control, instead of letting the IRS pick both for you at 73. And the part that surprises people, there's no income limit on a conversion. Roth contributions have income limits, conversions don't. Anyone can convert any amount, any year. The only question is how much tax you'll pay to do it. That's where the window comes in. Here's the loophole hiding in plain sight. Every year, before you owe a dime of federal income tax, you get to subtract your standard deduction. Income that fits under that deduction is taxed at zero. So if you fill that space with a Roth conversion instead of leaving it empty, you've just moved money into a tax-free account at a 0% rate. Let me show you how big that zone actually is for 2026. Take a married couple, both 65 or older. Their base standard deduction is $32,200. Being 65 plus, each spouse adds another $1,650. That's $3,300 more. And brand new, a temporary senior bonus deduction of $6,000 per person, $12,000 for the couple. Stack those up and you get about $47,500 in deductions. What does that mean in practice? If their other taxable income is low, say they're retired and haven't turned on Social Security yet, they can convert up to roughly $47,500 into a Roth and owe zero federal income tax on it. Zero. The same dollars that would later get taxed at 22% as a forced RMD, moved out for free. One honest caveat. That's the ceiling when your other income is low. Every dollar of pension, interest, or taxable Social Security fills part of that zone first. So your real, free room is whatever's left underneath. But for a lot of people in early retirement, that room is bigger than they ever realized. But Ray, you might say, $47,500 a year isn't going to empty a $500,000 IRA. True. So let's talk about the zone just above zero, because it's still remarkably cheap. After your deductions, the next slice of income is taxed at just 10%, then 12%. For a married couple in 2026, that 12% bracket doesn't end until about $96,950 of taxable income. Add the deductions back on top, and that same couple could convert somewhere around $144,000 in a single year and never pay more than 12% on the top dollar. Compare that to the alternative. Leave it sitting, and at 73 the RMDs start, on top of your Social Security, taxed at 22 or 24%, maybe dragging you into IRMA. Paying 12% on your terms beats 24% on theirs. This is why timing is everything. There's a window planners call the gap years, between the day your paycheck stops and the day RMDs begin at 73. In those years, your income is often the lowest it will ever be again. No salary, maybe no Social Security yet, no forced withdrawals, and the cheap brackets are wide open. Every year you don't use that space, it expires, and the untouched account grows into a bigger RMD later. So why bother? Because money you move into a Roth does 3 jobs at once, and all 3 connect to videos we've already done. 1. It never triggers a future RMD. Roth IRAs have no required withdrawals while you're alive, so every dollar you convert shrinks the pile the IRS can force out at 73. 2. It never counts as income later. When you pull from the Roth, it doesn't add to the income that triggers IRMA, that Medicare surcharge from last week, and it doesn't push more of your Social Security into the taxable column. 3. Quiet but important. It protects the survivor. Remember the widow's tax? When one spouse passes, the survivor files as single, in tighter brackets, and a big traditional IRA can hit them hard. Money already in a Roth comes out tax-free. It doesn't care which bracket they're in. That's the case for doing this on purpose. Now the traps. There are a few, and they're easy to trip over. Trap 1. Pay the tax from the right pocket. When you convert, you owe tax on the amount. Pay that tax from a regular savings or checking account, not by holding it back out of the conversion. If you pay it out of the IRA money itself, less lands in the Roth, and you've shrunk the whole benefit. Trap 2. The IRMA 2-year look-back. A large conversion spikes your income this year, and Medicare sets your premium off your income from 2 years ago. So one giant conversion can quietly raise your Medicare bill 2 years later. The fix. Convert in measured amounts across several years, not all at once. Trap 3. You can't undo it. Years ago, you could reverse a conversion. Not anymore. Since 2018, once you convert, it's done. That's exactly why you run the numbers with a CPA before you move the money, not after. Trap 4. The pro rata rule. If some of your IRA money was already taxed, what's called basis, you can't just convert the after-tax part. The IRS makes you blend it proportionally across all your IRAs. Not a deal breaker, just a calculation. And one more reason this belongs with a professional. And one timing note that ties it together. That $6,000 per person senior bonus deduction, the thing making the 0% zone so wide right now, is temporary. Under current law, it runs through 2028. After that, unless it's extended, the free zone shrinks. So for once, the act now urgency is real, not a sales line. Richard retired at 66. He's 68 now, and he hasn't turned on his Social Security yet. He's letting it grow. Which means right now, his taxable income is about as low as it's ever going to be. He's got that old 401k we talked about last week. The one that would have hit him with a big forced RMD at 73. For years it just sat there, growing into a future tax problem. This spring they sat down with their CPA. With their income low and both over 65, they had room to convert a chunk of that 401k into a Roth and pay almost nothing, filling their deductions and the 12% bracket, stopping well short of the IRMA line. They paid the small tax bill from their regular savings, so every converted dollar landed in the Roth. And they made a plan to do it again, a measured amount each year, through their gap years, shipping that future RMD down before it ever starts. 5 steps. And notice, most of them are about timing and math, not big risky moves. Step 1. Find your gap years. If you're retired but not yet 73 and haven't maxed out your income with Social Security or a pension, you may be standing in the window right now. Step 2. Know your real 0% and 12% room. Add up your deductions, subtract the income you already have, and see how much cheap space is actually left this year. Step 3. Convert on purpose in measured amounts. Fill the cheap brackets. Don't blow past them into 22, 24%, or over the IRMA line in a single year. Step 4. Pay the tax from outside money, so the full amount lands in the Roth and keeps growing tax-free. Step 5. Run it with a CPA before you move a dollar. It's permanent, the pro rata rule can apply, and the right number depends on your situation. This isn't about gaming the system. It's about paying the tax you were always going to owe, in the cheapest year the law allows, instead of the most expensive one the IRS picks. If this opened your eyes to a few years you didn't know you had, hit subscribe. I break down a retirement money topic every week. Tell me in the comments, Are you in your gap years right now? Retired, but not yet 73? Next time, we're following the income thread one more step, to the tax torpedo that can make up to 85% of your Social Security check taxable, and how the moves we just talked about quietly diffuse it. It connects directly to everything today. Don't miss it. I'm Ray. Take care of your money, and take care of each other. See you in the next one.